Can everybody hear me? Yes? Cool, awesome. So this is a Red Bit by Spoot. Um, so a few weeks ago, I came across a study on how humans process stimulation. This man right here is Jameson, and this is a button that will shock him when he presses it. He is encouraged by other participants in the study to press the button, and that's his reaction. When asked how he felt about the button, this is his quote: "I don't want to do that again." So they stick Jameson in a room with the button and ask him to stay there for 30 minutes. He's not allowed to sit or stand up. He just needs to stay in the room for the full 30 minutes. He does not have to press the button, but he can if he wants to. After just 23 seconds, he's already restless. He's already breaking the rules. He's looking around for something to entertain himself during his time in the room. After just 49 seconds, he begins to fidget with this button, the button he said he didn't want to press. After just a minute and 57 seconds, he presses the button. He's not even 2 minutes into the study. What is he going to do with the remaining 28 minutes? Well, 5 minutes later, he presses it again, and he presses it a total of 3 times while he's in the room. Humans are social creatures. Whether it's another person or a fidget toy or an electric shock button, humans need stimulation, and they will do anything to avoid boredom. So today, I'm going to talk to you about the most exciting thing that you can do is feel boredom. I'm sure many of you have heard me complain about my commute to the office over the last several months, and I'm sorry if it's gotten annoying. When I started driving up here, I felt like I had plenty of music and plenty of Starbucks to keep myself entertained on the seemingly endless drive. But soon enough, I began to feel restless in the car. The music I played just didn't sound good anymore, and no amount of caffeine could keep me from feeling fatigued, even if I had gotten plenty of sleep the night before. More recently, I've come into a few recommendations for a podcast. That's last podcast on the left, right there, on the left. And then that's Waveform on the right, if anyone's listened to that one yet. It's pretty new, but it's really good. It's about tech stuff. And this has really helped. But still, there are times when I can't finish an episode or I just don't feel like listening. So what do? I'm stuck in the car for about 10 to 12 hours a week. And filling all that time with something entertaining is just not possible. I was not very keen on accepting this and moving on, so I started looking into what boredom actually is and seeing if I could do anything to overcome my outlook. Boredom is not having absolutely nothing to do, but instead none of the options you have available appeal to you. Boredom is characterized by feeling a lack of concentration, feeling restless, but also lethargic. It's a feeling we don't like. It's uncomfortable, but it's trivial. I mean, it happens to all of us. But now we have things like Reddit and Instagram and TikTok, wherever Alyssa is. I know she's a big TikTok person. I've recently come into it. I really like it. But we have all these things, so who cares, right? Well, physical pain, nausea, and heartbreak are also uncomfortable, but those feelings come from dangerous, toxic external forces. Which are tangible to you and those around you, whereas boredom occurs simply because you're disinterested in the world around you and the world inside your mind, when you're just alone with you existing. So does this existence of boredom mean there's something wrong with existence? Arthur Schopenhauer put it best by saying, if life had in itself any positive and real value, boredom could not exist. Mere existence in itself would supply us with everything and therefore satisfy us. But obviously this isn't true. I mean, we get bored all the time. So is there something wrong? Is there something wrong with existence? Giacomo Leopardi had a great rebuttal to this by saying, boredom is the most sublime of all human emotions because it expresses the fact that the human spirit is greater than the entire universe. Boredom is an expression of a profound despair at not finding anything to satisfy the soul's boundless needs. Uh, but there's some truth to that. So while on the surface, boredom might feel childish to admit to feeling or even rude, at a deeper level, this feeling of boredom is not boring. It can be something more. When you're bored, the brain activity only drops about 5%, and MRIs of people's brains after having experienced boredom have shown increased activity in areas responsible for recalling autobiographical information and imagination. It's a state of mind that lets us think about ourselves and notice things we may have overlooked, accomplish tasks we may have otherwise put off, like cleaning, and challenge ourselves with puzzles and games. If you are interested in measuring boredom or your ability to feel it, then the boredom proneness scale is for you. It measures your ability to be attentive. People who have high emotional intelligence can describe their feelings well. They will generally score lower on this scale, whereas those of us with fewer dopamine receptors need more stimulation to feel satisfied, and you would likely score higher on the scale. Our brains need stimulation in order to stay healthy, not too much so as to become overwhelmed, but a certain amount unique to each individual. It puts us in this flow between arousal and control when it comes to our skill level and challenge level. When finding stimulation from the outside world is not possible, the brain will eventually start to make up its own stimulation in the form of hallucinations. You can actually try experiencing hallucinations for yourself in a very safe way. You don't need any mind-altering substances, no drugs. I'm not condoning that, but you can if you want. All you need is a ping pong ball and a radio. You just cut the ping pong ball in half, tape each half over your eyes, and tune the radio to static. Within minutes, you'll start to see things and hear things that aren't actually there. Right, yeah. I haven't done that yet, but I plan on trying it. Being so deprived of stimulation that you begin to hallucinate is pretty extreme and far beyond that of everyday occasional boredom. Simple boredom, like waiting in a doctor's office or listening to an uninteresting talk on boredom, is not a disorder, it's not a mood, it's an emotion. Robert Plutchik's Wheel of Emotion is a great way to visualize this. Boredom is an intense form of, it's a less intense version of disgust. Disgust is a less intense version of loathing, which is one of the core emotions there. Emotions are not pointless, even the ones that we don't like experiencing, like rage and terror and grief. In normal amounts, they have a real purpose. Creatures that feel emotions are compelled to do more than just eating, drinking, sleeping, and procreating. We are driven to do things like build friendships and apologizing to people and loving and planning for the future. This disgust, though, I wanted to call out, I thought it was really interesting. Disgust is like an emotion. We don't enjoy it. It keeps us from doing things, but it's like an alarm, a warning triggered when something appears to be spoiled or toxic. It could be something that poisons us or makes us sick. Boredom is, in a similar way, it protects us. Dull presentations, mind-numbing tasks, and an overload of uninteresting sameness, those things are not poisonous or dirty, but they're just not stimulating enough. Boredom compels us to do things, fresh, exciting stimulation. It drives us to create, to plan, and ultimately pushes us to grow. When it can be overcome, a higher propensity to boredom is a sign of a healthy mind. It is advantageous to feel bored. People who felt boredom wound up doing more and flourished more, and led to more people like them. So the next time you feel bored, you have a choice. You can certainly kill a little time by seeing what's new on your favorite platform of choice, like I often do. And if you don't think too much about it, that's perfectly fine. You've successfully prevented a moment of boredom. But in doing so, you're likely making yourself a little less creative and a little less proactive. In short, you're a real-world example of someone pressing an electric shock button to avoid the unpleasantness of boredom. So think a little bit more carefully before the next time you press that button.